So today we're going to share with you a law that's like gravity that's going to help you get whatever you want. And we want you to learn how to not be part of the 92% of this.
Good morning.
Good morning. Saturday morning. And welcome to the Jeff and Steph show, episode number 9. So today we're going to share with you a law that's like gravity that's going to help you get whatever you want. And we want you to learn how to not be part of the 92% of this that we'll talk about, but be part of the 8%.
Yes. And our mission here is to help people like yourselves get healthy once and for all in your relationships, in your body, in your finances, wherever it is, but healthy and once and for all.
Yes. Awesome.
So, how was everyone's week? I see that we got a couple people on. There's someone on. If you're on and you can hear us, just give us some thumbs up, give us some hearts, just to let us know everything's working.
And we'd love for you to share this out so other people can hear this message along with you, watch along with you. That'd be awesome. Thank you so much. We're going to, at some point, move this over to our page. We've been doing this on each of our own personal pages,
yes.
And we'll eventually move this over to our business page. But for now, you get us live on each of our individual pages. So,
yes.
All right, week after Thanksgiving.
It's December.
It is December. Holy cow.
Yeah.
So Christmas decorations are kind of up.
Well, yes, and they look beautiful.
They do.
There's something about like all white lights.
Yeah.
And we have it on the tree this year. We mix it up every once in a while. We have all lights, and then Zachary and I love this. We have a staircase, and we put those along the banister. And
with the green garland.
With green garland, okay. Yeah. And the lights. And I love that.
Yeah, I do too.
It changes things.
And I got my very own tree this year. I'm so excited. So last year we went, I don't know why, we were in Lowe's for some reason, and they happened to have a whole bunch of trees, and we get a live tree every year, and just reach right in front of me. We get a live tree every year. I love the smell, and anyway, we were in Lowe's last year, and they had these trees on clearance, and decided finally to get a tree for my ornaments, which Jeff has been giving me for 30 years, 29 years of marriage, and I think one before. Little precious moment figurine ornaments, which I adore. So now I have my very own tree that has all of those ornaments on it. Yes. It's very cool.
And I love tradition, and that's a cool one. It's really easy when it's hard to buy for somebody. When you have a tradition, you just go and find the...
Very true.
The year, like I think I get 2 or 3 to choose from every year. They create ornaments, but they'll have like 2019 or 2020 on it, so it's something you can remember about. Yeah,
it's very cool. And then and that's something that we do. That's a tradition that we do with our boys as well. And we've done like anytime we travel anywhere, we always get an ornament. We buy each of our boys an ornament every year, so it's kind of fun when we decorate the tree every year. It's like, all right, where have we been, or do you remember that time period in your life?
That was my mom started that with the kids.
She did.
But we could have a 12-foot tree now because we have so many ornaments to fill it up. So we kind of pick and choose our favorite ornaments that go on there, and some of them don't go on because there's just not enough room.
Yep. So good morning to those that are joining us. Love to hear from you, where you're from. I can't see anybody's actual names.
Where are you from, and what's the temperature of where you're at? What are we at?
I don't know, but
can't check.
It's yesterday morning was like 35 degrees here in Arizona, which is cold.
Yeah, cold for us.
Yeah, exactly.
Not from where we grew up.
No.
Yeah.
So what else? So last night we had a couple of friends over, and we got to go see the lovely Iga, a beautiful friend of ours that moved here in July, and she is an amazing musician, and we got to go watch her live. She had her first gig at Sozo Coffee House right here in Chandler.
Did you post some of her stuff?
I didn't post any of her music.
Okay.
I did post a picture.
Okay.
We'll have to share her. She's amazing. Oh my gosh. Anyway,
Zach,
so much fun to be able to support your friends.
Zach went with and listened. He was there the whole time.
I know, with all the adults.
Yeah.
Friday night with his parents.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. Okay.
So what we are talking today, we're going to share a law with you that has really impacted our life. And it's kind of like gravity, right? The law of gravity. It's just a known thing that if you do it, it will work.
Yeah, and it's a known thing, but it's not as popular as gravity.
No.
That's the thing. You have to search pretty hard to go and find this.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where when you apply it in your life, it will show up. It will give you what you're looking for.
Yeah, absolutely. So we got a couple of people. Yay. So Sarah, good morning. Lavon, hello. You guys are definitely coming from colder weather than we are.
Yeah. What's the temperatures in North Dakota? So.
All right.
But
so,
you want to
should
start?
we get started?
Yep, we can get started.
All right.
Okay.
So, 92% of these every single year fail.
Just say it. Tell them.
New Year's resolutions. So we're getting close to the new year. I think a lot of people are excited to leave 2020 behind and bring in a new 2021. And it's never too early to start. In fact, we don't wait for New Year's to do this kind of stuff.
No.
Like it, now.
Well, we do it 4 times a year.
Yeah. So
and
quarterly.
we'll be sharing this, with you. You do it 4 times a year because a year is long, but then it's also short. But what we're going to be sharing is we're going to be sharing how you break it down to where your target. We're going to talk about the word goal, outcomes, and targets, but your target is always on your mind every single day.
Exactly. And so 92% of people will set New Year's resolutions at the beginning of the year and they will fail. And some of the biggest reasons that they fail is because they are way too vague. It is a large goal that doesn't have any specific targets or action steps to it. And so think back on your life where you've come to New Year's and you've said, okay, this is the year that this is going to happen. And you have a couple of weeks where you think about it all the time, but you don't actually write anything down. You don't plan for anything. And a month in, all of a sudden, you've really kind of forgotten about it. Mm-hmm. I mean, and that's the norm.
Yeah.
And that is why 92% of people that set New Year's resolutions fail to achieve them or even get close to them. So
I know. Yeah, they're too vague. And the one thing people need to realize is when you create a New Year's resolution, it's a new habit.
Right.
And habits are hard to establish and put into your life. Mm-hmm. So it's not easy. It's just something new. And once you start to put something new into your life, it gets to be very interesting.
Yeah. So let's talk a little
Henry, hey buddy, how you doing?
Hello. Let's talk a little bit about targets versus goals because it is a distinction, and some people are like, "Oh, it doesn't really matter." But what we've come to realize is that when you have a target, right? Think of going out and playing darts.
Yeah.
You got the bullseye.
Yep.
So you're interrupting me.
Well, I don't care. I know you're going with this because you're good at darts.
Normally, I'm the one interrupting him. So you've got the bullseye, right? You've got this target. And when you are focused in on the target, the bullseye, it is a much more specific place to be. Like your mind, we've talked about it in previous weeks, reticular activating system, but your mind will focus in on that target. A goal is typically so much more generic, a bigger, broader thing that it's really difficult to get down to daily action steps that you need to take when you have a goal versus a target. Mm-hmm. You had found...
Yeah, and I'm just going to... I did too, and I love it because when I think of target, I think of the bullseye, I think of archery, and then I also think, now I think of playing darts. But... if you think of somebody that works with targets, that would be like somebody that's a sniper. Mm-hmm. Somebody that they have a specific target that they have. And I was looking it up, and a sniper's motto is 1 shot, 1 kill, not a spray and a pray.
Right.
So they're not going to just shoot and spray all over the place, praying they might hit the target.
Right.
That's what most people do with goals.
Yeah, so it's very focused.
And a goal you win or you lose. You feel like you won or you lost. It's like, oh, I didn't get to my goal, so I lost. If you do a target, and we're going to use an example here of like, you want to lose 15 pounds in the next 90 days. So here's the first quarter of the year. Just kind of, you're going to talk like business for a little bit. Like everybody goes by quarters when you get into business. Your first quarter of the year, you want to lose 15 pounds. So you look at your target. If you miss your target by just a little bit and you get to like 14 pounds, it's a win. It's a win. You just about hit your target right on the bullseye. You got close.
Right.
But you're still okay.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know, it really is a mindset shift in looking at it as a target. And then really what we found to be the key is breaking it down to smaller chunks, right? So you can have a vision for a longer game, of course, that keeps you going, but you want to focus in on a smaller period of time, which is why quarterly is what we do. So every 90 days, it's looking at, all right, what are my targets for the next 90 days? And then from there, you break it down to 30-day benchmarks. So like you
30
just...
to 60, 90.
Yeah, so every 30 days, right? So you take that quarterly. So if you want to lose 15 pounds by the end of the next quarter, you break it down, and that's 5 pounds a month, right? So then you have a benchmark.
We used 15, so it's easy
to
math. Remember this, for us.
Exactly.
So if you want to lose 15 pounds in 90 days, and you have benchmarks of 30 and 60, what you're going to do is you're going to look at the 30 and 60. You need to lose 5 pounds each 30 days.
Right.
So with the 5 pounds, then how much do you lose per week?
Right. So then you break that down. So 1.25, 1.5 pounds every week is going to be your focus. So then that's where it really starts to get interesting, because first of all, most people don't even break it down to those numbers. They just see that big number. And your mind really starts to think, okay, can I really do that? Because it's really kind of this, it's something bigger than you're used to. It's something that maybe is out of your comfort zone. And so your mind starts to play tricks on you that maybe you really can't get to that. So when you break it down, 15 pounds in 3 months, like, oh, that maybe sounds like a lot. 1.25 pounds every week, it's like, oh, that's easy. I can do that. Like, that's something that is easy to attain. And so you want to break it down into those smaller chunks, whatever it is. And so we're just using losing weight as an example, but you can use this for anything in your life that you want to get to as a target.
We're using weight because it's easy for us to share this with you. And there's a lot of people after the New Year's that want to lose some weight. I mean, we have people are making fun of like COVID-19. It's like they gained 19 pounds. They gained the COVID-19. And then we got Christmas and we got the holidays. And so everybody's going to maybe gain a couple of pounds. So we all want to get healthy in, the first of the year. So with that, here's what happens. Once you get your targets and you get to the target of 30, we break it down to it's 1.25 pounds per week. Then what you do is, what action steps do I need to take every single day? So this gets repetitious, this gets boring, because you got to do the same thing over and over and over again.
But this is where the habits come in. Like, this is what starts to create the daily habits that you need. And this is where we're going to actually talk about this new law that most people haven't heard about.
Yep.
You want to share it?
Yeah. Pearson's Law, and where you have it right here.
Yeah, so Pearson's Law says whatever is tracked and measured is going to increase in performance, and I am paraphrasing this. And if you track, measure, and report back, which means you review the results of your tracking and measuring, it's going to increase exponentially.
Yeah.
And so, and we're going to talk about this, but here's an example. Right? Here's my little binder and my daily tracking. And we each have one of these, and it's simple little, we call it the freedom formula. It's simple little things that you're going to track every single day, so that you can get to the end of the week and you can figure out, is this working? Because here's one of my favorite things is what you share. Yeah.
Everything in life is feedback. That's all it is. All we have is feedback. We just, a lot of times we don't look at the feedback.
Right. So if you're tracking and measuring what you're doing on a daily basis, so maybe, okay, let's keep with the theme of losing weight. You're tracking your calories. You're tracking how much you've worked out, how much water you've drank, how much you're sleeping because you need your body to rest. And you get to the end of the week and you didn't hit the 1.25 pound target. Maybe you didn't lose anything. Maybe you gained a pound. So we're not going to use that to beat ourselves up or have any of that language going on, which is a whole nother topic.
All it is feedback.
But it's feedback. And so you look at, okay, what were the steps that I took every day? What went on this week that maybe caused me to not be able to move that in the right direction? And then you start adjusting. So you don't set a plan for the whole 90 days and say, this is what I'm going to do every day for 90 days. You do it week by week because you need to review and adjust it every single week.
They call it course correct.
Yeah.
We just course correct. It's kind of like, and I know most planes are flown by computers today, but you know, a plane flying from here to Hawaii right now, the computer's course correcting on a moment by moment basis. It gets off 2 degrees, it moves back, and then all of a sudden it's 2 degrees off to the east, it'll move back to the west, and it'll just keep working its way until it lands in Hawaii on a dime every time. But it needs to course correct, because if it would just pick, I'm going to take off from LA and I'm going to land in Hawaii, and it doesn't look along there, they'll never find Hawaii.
Exactly. So it's that, you know, looking back at, all right, what did I do this week that was good, that got me there? If you have a really great week, it's like, all right, that's what I need to repeat. So it's establishing these daily habits. And like you said, it gets kind of boring, right? Because establishing a habit is making something consistent so that you're going to do it every day. And there's a really big piece of that's a key.
There is. Everybody, if you talk about habits and targets and stuff, it's all about consistency, right? Consistency is definitely going to get you to where you want to go, because that's how new habits get created. But there's something before that. It needs to be simple.
Yep.
And we love to talk about having it be fun too.
Right.
If it's simple, you're going to do it. If it's complex, no way. I go the other direction.
Right.
I know I'm a lot like everybody else, but I don't like thinking things complex. If there's something complex, but if it's simple and it's easy, no problem.
Well, and that's where you break it down. It's like, okay, this is what I need this week. Break it down to very simple steps that are absolute no-brainers to succeed at. It's like, you know, if you have several different things and any one of those things you do throughout the day, like we really need to have an episode about wins and rules and having the ands versus ors. That's a whole nother topic. But if you accomplish, if you just do one thing that moves you closer to that goal, it's something that you can use to fuel yourself to feeling great and count that as a win in the day, instead of, you know, looking at it like, oh, I didn't do what I needed to do today and beating yourself up.
Yeah.
All
I can say is when we came across this information and we started to set 90-day targets and we started to break them down to the ridiculous, to where, you know, these are the 3 action steps that I have to do every single day, and we put them into our lives, and then we tracked and measured. We looked at the feedback. We looked to see if it's working. Just because Pearson's law is just like gravity, it works if you work it. And when you start to write things down in your mind, there's something in our nervous system, when we get to see something that's tracked and measured, it just automatically, you just gravitate towards that goal you're looking for. It just happens.
And, you know, and we've even, like, well, I'm kind of geeky on the computer and lots of spreadsheets and stuff. So we'll actually take this information and put it into a graph so you can visually see it. Now, there's tons of apps out there. Like, I use MyFitnessPal. Love that app. We actually even have a scale in our house that has an app associated to it, but it creates a graph. And so anything that's a visual that you can actually see your progress and see which direction you're going, it's going to continue to help you get where you need to go.
The graph, there's a secret to the graph too. When you start to use a graph, when you start to, like you call it, geek out, and you start to use the graph, you start to see when, like, your 4th or 5th or 6th week that you're into this, you have a couple of off weeks, and your mind just wants to give up. You know, you had a birthday party, you went on vacation, you went to Hawaii, you went to Maui or whatever, you come back and you've gained 3 or 4 pounds, and it's like the brain wants to just give up. But if you see it on a graph, you see that graph is gradually still moving down, even though you had an off week. That's where most people give up.
It's the trend line is what it's called. Like, you want the trend line to be trending in the direction. It's not, looking at the very
specific week.
Specific,
by the week.
So we are breaking it down to the week in order to review and make progress. But overall, you want to look at the trend line for where are you at for the quarter, so you can see the general direction that you're moving. Because if you just look in at 1 day or 2 days or a week, then maybe it doesn't look like you're making progress. But if you look at that trend line across what you've been doing, now you can see the progress. Whether it's losing weight, you want it trending down, or you're doing something in your business where you want it to trend up. Whatever that is, it's looking at that entire quarter, the results that you're having along the way, but then focusing in and reviewing on a week-by-week basis to do the course correction.
It is. Yeah. And when it comes right down to it, life is all about feedback.
Yeah, I really love that.
Yeah, and that's what it really is. I mean, one of your mentors, Marcy Locke, she talks about feedback all the time. Everything that comes into us is feedback. We have so many more episodes we're going to talk about, and feedback will be part of it, because that's what part of our life's all about, is grabbing the feedback, looking at it, and looking to see if we are going towards our target, if we're not.
Right.
And we can always course correct and go a different direction.
And using the and this is where so many people will use feedback in a negative way. And for us, feedback is nothing but the ability to take what's happening in life and turn it into positive for how do I move forward. If you had a crappy week, it's like, okay, great, that's feedback. And now I know what not to do, right? It's now I know what to do better. Maybe I don't know exactly how to fix it yet, but I also know what not to do again this next week.
And it gets down to where if you look at your week and then you start to break it down and you look at the feedback, did it have to do with not enough sleep? Sleep will be a big part of it. Were you stressed? Did you have a big meeting? I know that you have some deadlines coming up for work, and when the deadlines come from work, I can feel the stress in your demeanor, and I'll just say, do you need extra time for work? So she'll like Wednesday night, I have to eat dinner and I have to go back up to work. Once she gets the 3 or 4 hours in, the stress goes away. And then what we'll do is we'll look at the week and we're like, hey, you know what? Our feedback is off on certain things that we had written down to do, and we go back and we look at it and we go, oh, it was, you had taken 2 nights off to do work where we didn't get to do our business, and all of a sudden we feel like we're behind. It had nothing to do with us not doing the work. It was just that we didn't have the time. But we see the feedback and we're like, okay, we just course correct.
Yeah, what do we get to do next week?
Works. It just works.
It does. Pearson's law
works.
Like, we'll just repeat it again. So Pearson's law is basically what you track and measure is going to improve. What you track, measure, and then report back on, and what we like to say review, is going to improve exponentially. And that really, honestly, is a law.
Yeah.
So Ellen says it doesn't count if you don't measure it. Even programming used to have to say, yep, in technique, exactly. It's like you've got to measure it, because otherwise, here's the other thing about measuring, right? You might have done something amazing and accomplished this goal, accomplished this target, but because you didn't track and measure it, you have no idea why.
Yep.
Right? You have no idea how to repeat that, how to do that again the next time. So that's the other great thing about tracking and megging, is it gives you that history so that you can see what did I do great, so I can repeat that again next time.
And I'll use an example. Wanting to lose weight. I wanted to get down to in the 180s. I was in the 190s. I didn't have a lot to lose. But I was working out and I was doing different things and I was tracking it, and I got into running. As soon as I started running, the weight dropped.
Yep.
And I connected the dots because of the feedback. And that's exactly what this works. It just, like I said before, it works.
It does.
It just works.
Yep.
Cool.
Awesome.
All right.
Well, so good to see so many of you out here on this Saturday morning. Just wishing you a beautiful December. I know that this year is different than most years and people preparing for the holidays, but love and blessings to all of you as you go out and prepare for this holiday season. Here's one of the things before we close. It just came to me.
Okay.
I know I just interrupted you. So we just got done talking about, setting targets. Like year 2021 is coming up, and it always is good at the beginning of a month to start. And so that's one of the reasons why January 1st is a place where a lot of people set targets. But there is absolutely nothing to say you can't go today and set targets for the next 90 days, because a lot of times through these holiday seasons, if you don't have a target set, then this time of the year becomes kind of this complete free-for-all in your life. And you feel like after you get through the holidays, you're completely off track in all different areas of your life. Mm-hmm. And so if you start now and set some targets, you have that beacon that's kind of guiding you through these hectic times, whether it's, the stress of what's going on, whether it's getting through, the food and all of the things that come along with the holidays, or the spending the money, whatever it is. If you set some targets now so that you have that beacon to pull you through, it becomes that much easier to navigate some of these times instead of waiting until the holidays are done to set those targets. Do it now. And
you don't have to start on a Monday.
No, that's the other thing.
I dislike that so much. I tell a story to a lot of my clients, and I'll close on this and we can be done. But we talk about starting on January 1st. That's just a flippin' date, and then a Monday. Everybody's like, well, I fell off the wagon. I'll start my diet back over on Monday. Right. It's always Monday. And I tell my clients, I tell them a story. I said, what if the aliens wanted to find out what was going on around here? So a couple of the elders, they sent some of their young people down here to spy on us. So they spied on us for a year or two or whatever, and they came back up and they're like, how do they live? Who's their leaders? Who tells them what to do? And they said, well, it's kind of weird. It's a different type of leadership. He goes, well, who are they? And he goes, well, they have these pieces of paper, and on the paper they have these words and they have these numbers, and they call them a calendar. And he says on this calendar they have names like Mondays and Tuesdays and Fridays. He goes, if all these people, they wake up on Monday, they see it's Monday, they walk around and they're depressed and they're pissed and they're like, Monday sucks, and they hate it. But they like Fridays. They get excited when it's Friday. They're all happy. They're all excited. They like Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. So their leaders, they have 7 leaders, and that's how they run their lives. And all it is a piece of paper. Mm-hmm. It's just a piece of paper, and we decide on how we feel because of what that paper says. If it says Monday, we think it sucks. I think that's terrible. You should live your life where you're happy all the time. Right. I see the happiness warrior is here, Brian Gary.
Mr. Gary.
And he's the one that is spreading happiness all over. Happiness should be Monday through Friday. Maybe there shouldn't even be a day, and it's just happy all the time.
Well, and get back to the point of, don't wait until Monday to start whatever it is that you want to start. Don't wait until Monday to take action towards those targets that you're setting. Start right now. There's no better time than when you've thought of something, to not leave the scene of creating a target, creating a goal, to take immediate action. And it does not have to be a Monday. It doesn't have to be the first of the month. It doesn't have to be the first of a quarter. It can be any day of the week. What you just need to do is decide what you want that target to be, and then do what we talked about on this call and break it down and start to track and measure it.
And they don't have to be big goal or big action steps. Mm-mm. If right now, right here, you're watching this, you could get off your phone, keep your phone on you, and go for a walk. Yep. Right now. And just go for a walk. You can come back, you can write down, you walk for 20 minutes and start tracking. Right. And that's how you start creating habits. It's not procrastinating, it's taking action in the moment. Mm-hmm. So. Okay. Anyway, Hopefully you got something out of this. If you did, please share it.
If you're watching us on the replay, drop us a comment. We'd love to hear from you and
Yes.
share this out.
Absolutely. Thank you for your time. Time is our most precious resource, and we thank you for taking a few minutes out of your day to listen to this. Remember, today's choices create tomorrow's experiences for generations to come. And we will see you next week, same place, same time.
Yep.
All right.
Take care.